Okay, hello everyone, and this is Mike from the ZBS CRM team. So just give it a couple more minutes for people to arrive. If you're already in the room, please do let me know where you're watching from. So I would normally be on the webcam today, but I am a little bit under the weather, so you just get to hear my stuffy voice today. Okay, so again, just let me know where you're watching from, and if there's any questions you have about the CRM, just ask them in the questions tab, and I will get to answering them as I go through the webinar. Again, we'll just give it a couple of minutes for people to attend. So again, for anybody that's just joining the webinar, this is the ZBS CRM product tour that we're doing on the 19th of February. So if you just let me know where you're watching from, and if you've got any questions about the CRM or anything you want me to cover, just ask them on the questions tab. So I'll get started in a moment. So this is the general product tour. So this will just cover the CRM in general and just some of the basics and areas just to touch on, just to hopefully save you a bit of time when it comes to setting up the CRM. And again, if you can hear me, or if you're struggling to hear me, just let me know in the chat. Okay, so it shouldn't be too long webinar today. We've done a number of these now over the past few weeks. So this just gives you a little bit of information about the CRM, how it looks like with a little bit of data in, and then I can also touch on some of the other extensions as I go through the demo. So what we've got, this is the CRM now as it would install, and it's using the slimline menu. So that what the slimline menu means is you have this menu here. So this on the left of the screen, you'll see ZBS CRM highlighted in blue, and then this is just your usual WordPress menu there. Then lower down, you've also got the settings menu for actually setting up the CRM. So there's two different areas. So when you first complete the wizard, you should be taken to this page, which just tells you a little bit about ZBS CRM and some of the features, and a couple of testimonials. So then you need to go into actually setting up the CRM. So this is the settings page. So again, there's different places you can access this. So it's down under the admin area here, along with a few other CRM areas that I will show you in a little bit. So you have your CRM dashboard, which I started the webinar on. Then you have contacts, quotes, invoices, transactions, tools, notifications, if you've got anything that the CRM needs to tell you you need to do. And then your general CRM admin area here. So another way to get to settings, to tools, to look at your CRM team, to look at the system status. So if there's anything in the CRM that you need to be aware of, it's worth checking there. Your emails. So this is the area of seeing what emails have been sent out from your CRM. The extensions manager, and then just some areas of where you can reach us with support. So knowledge base, emailing us, tweet us, join the Slack community, and just giving feedback in other ways. And you'll also see the welcome tour. So if you've not done the welcome tour before, it should automatically load for you. And then some other areas like your profile and your tasks that are specific to your user account. So the welcome tour, if you've not done it, it will, when you load it, should show up like this. So this just gives you a little way to step through the CRM, and it'll tell you through the screen like some of the things you can do. So the first one that people tend to skip past is they'll just see welcome to ZBS CRM and do next. But it's actually telling you you can actually make it full screen. So if you're clicking the logo, you can toggle between a full screen view or not. So I always like to have it set to the full screen view. It just gives a bit more space to work in the CRM. And if you do need to get back to your WordPress other items, they are to the side somewhere. Yeah, they're sort of stood down there. So you have your side menu, or you can pop it out if you're just using the CRM. So this is how I tend to work with it, and it just gives a bit more space. So again, if you have any questions as I'm going through, or if I'm going through anything a little quick, just let me know. So you have your dashboard and then settings. So you've got your dashboard. This shows you contacts, leads, customers, transactions, your contact list growth over time. So this just shows you, again, I've only imported a bit of demo data here just for the webinar. So over the last couple of months, and then the sales funnel. So this is looking at your statuses. So if you've got different statuses in the settings, you can actually see how efficient you are at moving them through from, for example, a lead stage to like maybe you've contacted them or they've replied back. Finally, back down to customer, and if you have any like follow-up actions after customer. So if you wanted to upsell, for example, to your customers, then you could even put that as an extra step to be able just to visualize your CRM effectiveness. So that's your dashboard, and you can customize and turn off anything through this icon in the top right. So if you don't want to see your revenue chart, you can turn that off. If you don't want to see the sales funnel, you can turn that off. And it just brings things a little bit tidier. So, and then throughout the CRM, you should see little learn buttons, which just give you a bit of information about each page. So if you don't feel like you have to remember everything right now in the webinar, it'll just all be covered. And you just learn buttons that either send you through to some of the feature pages. So if you click through any of these, it'll bring it to this type of page where you can actually see a little bit more information. So here's an example that shows you a bit more detailed funnel. So you're capturing leads and you're following them all the way through, and just gives you a little bit more information and other things you can be adding, as well as links, various links through to documentation at the end of the page. So that then follows you through and you can read more about the dashboard. So that's the general structure of the CRM. On each page you'll see these little learn buttons, and then you can add contacts, view your contacts, manage tags and segments. And if you've got B2B mode, you can do the same with companies. So you can add a company, you can add contacts to the company, you can add tags to the company, and you can import contacts and the like to your CRM if you are needing to migrate from another system. So having a look at the contacts, if you're adding a new contact, it just loads up this way. So I've done a couple of edits here to the settings, and I'll touch on those in a minute. So we could say webinar demo at ZBSCRM.com. And this person's a lead, and it's Miguel. I'm making up names. And then you'll see I put birthday and weight in. So this is just, these are a couple of custom fields. So, and I'll come back to those. Again, I'm making updates of birth and weights. And we can put addresses in, home telephone, work telephone, mobile telephone if need be. And if you are doing any other custom fields, you'll see that I've also got hair color. So again, you can store anything you like here, and you can, so we save this down. So this is adding a new contact. So there you go. So I've added a new contact. Again, it's not a real email, so there won't be an avatar coming through. But once it's saved down, there's a couple of things that open up. So the first one is contact actions. So you can do various things to contact. And from the edit page, you can add tags. So say we wanted to add a specific tag, say of a webinar. You can generate a WordPress user if you want to for that context. And you can do things like keep a record of social links. If you know their Twitter handle, then you could add it there. And if they work for a company, for example, I did Dell on the last webinar, you can assign them to that company. So we can save this person down. obviously typed the email wrong when I did it. So we'll save this again. So that's all it is to adding and updating contacts. And then you'll be able to see that this contact is in the CRM. So there's a few extra things on this again that I will touch on. So again, you've got lead vitals, which are things like how much has this contact spent with you. So that's the sum across transactions and then the unpaid invoices. So if you created a number of invoices for this person, then it's going to show effectively how much is due to be paid. So you see down here, you've got quotes, invoices, transactions, and files. So again, you've got nothing here for this contact because it's brand new. We've not really built up any data. Social is a tab that will show up there. So you see I've added ZBS CRM. And then custom fields is what I did before. So birthday, hair color, weight. So if you need to log any additional information, then you can see it on various tabs. And then client portal again is if you want this person to have access to the client portal, then you can generate a WordPress user. So again, just tapping on that creates you a WordPress user, and then that person can then log into the client portal. So that will create them their access. And then over to the right, I've got support tickets. So this is our awesome support extension. So if you're running like a support area to handle your contacts tickets, then that just gives you an overview there of what they've opened. And you see here that this has been a contact since today, works for Dell, and it's assigned to Mike. And then you've got your contact actions again, where you can go in and you can edit that contact if need be, or do other actions. So that's the area around editing the contacts. So again, do ask questions. If there's any particular areas you want to see as I'm going through the CRM, just shout up and I can cover them. It's not a set webinar. I'll take this wherever you want it to go. So you see before that I added a webinar tag. So, and you can manage all your tags for your contacts via the tags page. So you see here that we've got webinar. So this was just an example tag. And you can see here that we've got a count of 2. So when you click on that contact, you can see that it's bringing up a couple of contacts here that match that tag. So you can do whatever you want there with tags, and let's say this person now becomes a customer. So I've just updated this customer status there. So now this person's a customer status, and you see it's logged actually when it was changed. And it's also still saying that it's assigned to me. So it's assigned to Mike, and then, yep, so status change from lead to customer. So you can actually log those records and it'll tell you when it happened. So you'll be able to build up a picture of the activity of your contacts throughout the CRM. And you can go, so I've got quick navigation enabled as well. So you can go previous to just jump to the next contact on the list. So if there's a number of things you're doing with your contacts, then you can just see some of these names I've been making up. So Mr. New Monkey, Mr. Mike Start. So again, these are all different people, and you can see here that I've created some transactions for this person on the 15th, so a few days ago, and you can see that they all show up on the transaction area. And same, so there's no invoices, so this one is just logging transactions. And you can continue to do things like that. You continue to go back through all your little contacts, so previous contacts and next contacts, and edit them as you go along. So again, you can see here, this was one I did a little while ago where email broadcast was sent on the 14th. So you can see in general what's been going on in the CRM. Okay, so Stephanie's asked a question saying, can you clarify the definitions of lead, customer, contacts? Are those categories an individual moves through as they move through the sales funnel? So the statuses is you can control what they are via the settings. So if you go to CRM admin settings, and then in custom fields, you can see down here that you can put whatever statuses you want in here. So it doesn't have to be what I've got. So if you're managing other types of contacts and different statuses, then you can change them through there. So you can say, if you've only got lead, you could have lead, donor, customer. So there could be slightly different statuses. And then down here again, so this is the funnel, donor, customer. I always very nearly type donut when I write donor because it's so close to the letter R and the letter T. So there you go. So I've added the custom fields, and then so custom fields and statuses, but this is also where you manage your other custom fields. So if you wanted to see, so before that I was doing birthday, hair color, and weight. So the statuses you can manage, and as for whether there's any real meaning, I guess it's what you put onto them. So there's certain extensions that will, for example, mark your customer status as customer. So in WooSync, for example, if you've got a WooCommerce store and you're selling products, and if you've also got, say, a lead generation form to like capture interest, then you might have people coming in to your CRM as a lead, but then when they eventually purchase your site, it might automatically change them to customer. And that's things you can set up in various different extensions. So either through the API, if you're sending data through the API, or if you're using something like WooCommerce, when somebody makes a transaction, depending on their order status, you can have it change them from lead to customer, for example. So it is a way of seeing effectively how your contacts are moving through your funnel. So if you're capturing 100 leads a day, and you've got a certain process in place, and so you're set this first step, for example, being send an email to the contact, and then then the next stage will be emailed. Then you can sort of keep tracking, like, have you moved everyone from that first status? So with all these leads, say I have a process in place where I need to send them an email. So this person, and then say, okay, I have to send this person an email. He's a status lead at the moment. Then it'll pop up in the email area, and I can say checking in with you about your inquiry. Hello. Just checking in. And send. So again, you'll see here, so the contact will still stay as a lead. So once it's been sent, your process then might be, okay, this person, I've not got emailed in there, but say you had a status in there called emailed, then you change that person to, say, the email status, and then you could move on to the next contact and send them an email, etc., etc. Alternatively, if you are using something like automations or even mail campaigns, you can set up things that will do that for you. So you could say a new contact that has a particular status that you've defined. You can then say send an email to the contact. Email. This goes to the contact. So you can make automations in the CRM that do this and save it. So that's one way. But if you are looking to do email things, then it's definitely mail campaigns, which I've not got installed on this at the moment. But I'll be covering that on Thursday, where I go into a little bit more detail about mail campaigns. So yeah, in general, the statuses, you can do whatever you want with them. And you can, it's just a way, it's another way to track where people are if they keep moving around, if that makes sense. So with tags, somebody might have a tag, and they might always keep that tag with a status that's sort of moving from a longer path to ideally like the end customer states, or if you've got further states after customer. So if they were like a repeat customer might be your final status, then as a CRM or as a business or whatever your goals are, you'd be taking them from lead to email to customer to repeat customer type of thing. Okay, so again, keep the questions coming. It definitely helps. So that's the contacts, and so you have tags, and then you've also got segments. So these two things can be used when you start looking at some of the other extensions. So when I mentioned email campaigns, that's, again, there's too much detail in that one to go into it now, but I will quickly activate it. So there's quite a lot, I've got quite a lot of example plugins on here. So mail campaigns. So the mail campaigns extension in this, I'm running the version 2, which is will be available as part of our version 3 launch. So when you add a new extension, again, I'll just get it back to the full screen. You see it adds an area to the tools. So mail campaigns comes in here. And then you can do things again with your statuses or with your tags. So you can create a campaign here. And then I can say, actually, I want to send an email sequence. And then what you can do with the email sequences, you can say email to leads, send it every day coming from this email account. And you can just send it to a segment that matches leads. So I'll show you segments in a minute, or you can just use tags. Say you have a segment leads, then 8 contacts currently match those conditions. And then you can go on and you can start building your email campaigns here. So you can add an email, you can add a delay, and you can make the delays like start the sequence. So if somebody joins as a lead, then you could say, well, after 1 day, I want to send them a welcome email. And then after 5 days, I want to send them another email. So again, this is the mail campaigns extension, and you can choose what goes into each email as you go through. So as I was saying, with the tags and the sequences, it becomes quite useful then when you're using other extensions like this to do things with. So this one I've set up for a segment that was called leads. So I'll just show you what that means. So you've got leads, and there's 8 contacts that match that segment. So this is just, it's quite a straightforward one. So status equals lead. And so people will start getting emails as long as they match that. As long as they have status lead, they'll start getting those emails. And then if they become a customer, so if you changed it manually, or if they made a purchase and it changed the status to customer, then they'd no longer be getting the emails that you were just setting up. So this is where segments becoming useful, but you can add other conditions. So I could say has tag, so status equals lead, and has tag webinar. So that's the one I made a minute ago. Preview segment. So only one person matches it. So that's that chain door that I set up a minute ago. So segments is a way of building up various different conditions, and then you can say it either needs to match all of the conditions or any one of the conditions. So you can create different types of segments. So leads that attended a webinar could be a certain specific segment, and you could say attended webinar, preview the segment. So again, one person matches. Or you could have leads that didn't attend a specific event, depending on whatever tags you have. And you can add as many different conditions here. So status is not tagged, the date that they were added, etc. So I've covered adding a contact, editing a contact. I'll go through the contact list for you in a moment. Let's just see a question come in. Okay, so Stephanie has asked, we are a B2B model. We only sell directly to our dealers, but we collect leads and distribute them to our dealers. Would the leads be contacts and our dealers customers, or would we need to set up custom roles? Okay, so if you're distributing leads to your dealers, then effectively your leads would still be the contacts. So where I've got this list of contacts, these are your leads. So these are some example leads in here. So there's a ton of leads, and then if you see here that I've got assigned to Mike, and then there's different, these are CRM users. So these are people in the CRM with a specific CRM role. So if I go to team, I've got a number of people in the CRM as CRM managed customers only roles. So what these do is, again, if you're distributing them on a round robin basis, then you can use automations for that, but it will distribute them to these CRM team people. So in the automations, I can say a new contact has the status lead, and then I can distribute it to a CRM customer manager. Save the automation. So this will sort of run behind the scenes for you. So every new contact. So ZBS customer manager, and you see that I had a number of those in my team list on here. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. And then if I had a new contact, and make them a status lead, lead contacts, and save this person. And then go back to the list view. You see that one's been assigned to Mike. So then as you add more contacts, they will go, as you see further down on the list here, they get distributed to other CRM team members. So that's how you would do that. But again, if it's anything further custom, for example, you didn't want them to log in and see the other areas of your CRM, that's outside of the CRM setup. So it's a team CRM, so myself, Richard, Woody, other people in this list would be able to see all of the contacts. But when it comes to being able to edit them, so this will work for me because I'm admin. If you don't own the contact, you won't be able to like edit and change the details. But what you can do in automations is you could do something like, so again, I saw a minute ago the distribute one. So that was, okay, so we've got a couple of things here. So set up a few, so distributes customer managers. I set up a few different automations. So this is the one I set up a minute ago. And then you can actually say, send an email to the owner. So I've just reordered. So when a new lead comes in, it'll distribute it first, and then it'll send an email to the contact owner. So having a look at that automation, you see here that I'm saying new contact. Again, you can change it to have status lead. Send an email to the contact owner. You have a new lead. Deal with it. So that will sort that one out. And then you can add the whoops, jumps away. You can add the details of the lead into the automation as well. That would then distribute. It's not already been saved, it's lying. So again, I tried to save it twice. So new lead, deal with it. The F name, full name, email. So what I've set up now is a very quick automation. And again, if I go back to the automations, you can ignore these top ones that are grey. So I've got when a lead comes in, distribute it to the customer managers, and then send an email to the customer manager. So that's how that would handle. And let me quickly find. I'll just run that again for you in a second. Yep, so we've got that. So the automations is added. Those two are on. I've got quite a few others. I'm going to turn these off as well before I do anything. So add a new contact. So again, third at crm.com. Then lead, so I want it to trigger Mr. Third Lead. And then save again. So that's save the contacts again. I'm going back to the contact list. come in, it's assigned to Mike. So if the leads come in, it's assigned to Mike, and what will have happened, because I changed all the automations a minute ago, is it will then also send me an email to say, you've had a new lead, Mr. Third Lead, third at zbscrm.com. So that's how you can manage the distribution across contact owners. And then have the automations like handle sending the lead, sending the email, or you can even set up an automation that would send an SMS as well. So again, if you were setting in, you could do exactly the same again. Has status lead. And if you have the Twilio extension installed as well, then you can say send a text to the contact owner. So this actually does need the contact owner to have made sure they've got a phone number in their profile. Otherwise, it just won't send the text, and they need to make sure they're verified, etc. That the phone number is a real phone number. Or if you just want to send it anyway, and you can put certain different types of, you can do it to like a direct phone number there. So this is useful for various reasons in the CRM. So again, you could say on a new transaction, send an SMS, and then you could do something there. You could say, congrats, new order. And you could put whatever phone number in there, and then you could say first name. So you could use this to send yourself an SMS every time you've made a transaction in the CRM. Okay, so I'm done answering that one. So again, keep asking questions. So that's how you can do the distribution. So you can distribute it either manually. So if you don't have automations, then if you've added a new contact, you could go in and so you could have them all automatically default to nobody like this one. And then you can go in and you can pick somebody. So you could do this manually. So if you wanted to change things, you can just hop in and change the contacts that way. So then you can also manage what fields you want to see in this list. So as you can see, tagged, I'm going to remove, so I'm not too bothered to see tagged. And that just makes the list a little bit cleaner. So you can see the status, you can see when they were added, see who they were assigned to, and you can do various things. And then you have filters. So filters just lets you filter some of your data. So you can see this is the one I made a minute ago. So leads attended a webinar, so you can bring in different filters. And then you can click that, and it will filter based on the segment. So just filter out your list, and it will just bring, okay, that's that one person that matched. So that's pretty much the whole contact management area. So if you're working with businesses, the companies are a little bit different. So I'll just show you what I did a minute ago with the companies. So if you're managing a number of different clients and companies like Dell, so Dell would be a rather large company. You can add as many different contacts to the company record there. So you see that I've added 2 contacts, and this is a way of grouping contacts under a company. So if you need to edit Dell, so it's like hello@dell.com, and it's the same as in the contact record. You can add notes if you want to the companies. So you made a call, spoke to HR. Frank has left the company. If you're managing a company and you've got a number of people at the company, and you can set logos and whatnot. If we go back to the list, so this is just another way. It's another object in the CRM, and you can see who actually works there. So there's no Frank there, but if there was, you could then go in and say, okay, we just learned that Frank's left. So you really want to be editing this person and removing him from that company. So he no longer works at Dell. So that's how you would manage. And then I had a tag as well, so you can even move the tag. So these are just different ways of doing it. So this is a contact I made earlier. So you see here that we've got various things in the system. So numbers, you can click and it'll bring up, and it can make calls. So you can click on the SMS one and you can so you can send a quick SMS to the contact, and it will log them various logs in there. Oops. So I didn't actually send the SMS there. And then let's leave that page. So there's various things you can do there with other extensions. Okay, so is there anything anybody else would like to see while I'm going through the demo? Okay, so as before, this is the main area. I've been through all the contact parts. You can import through CSV or you can export contacts. And then if you go to quotes, if you are, depending on the type of business that you're running, if you're doing repetitive quotes all the time, so if you're always doing like a website review, or you're always maybe a kitchen installation, for example, if you were a construction business, then you can manage templates here. So you could add a specific template for quotes, and you can put in placeholders. So you can put in like certain customer names, etc., and the value of the quote date, business name. So if you have a lot of things in here about your own business, then you can make all the areas there. So you got your template placeholders, so you can put in various different ones here for the quotes. And then when you actually come to make a new quote for a contact, again, it's the same thing. You type in who contact it was. So Mr. Miguel, new website, quote 1,000, and then you can choose the template that you made before. Hit quote builder, and then you see it was populated the quote, and it's filled in it's filled in the contact information. So it'll save you needing to keep writing the same information over and over. And you see it's even filled in the value that you put in before. So if you wanted to then put in some breakdowns, you can do. And all this type of stuff, if it's standard in your terms, and you say things like quote date, that was a placeholder before as well. And there's just various different things. So again, it had our business name has gone in. Once it's accepted, we'll schedule this and then this, and then you can save the quote. So that's quotes in a nutshell. It's just a way of keeping track of maybe the next step with your contact. So if you've had a lead and then you need to do something, putting together a quote might be that next step. So this was for Mr. Mikhail Stott. So then again, you can see on here, I go to this person, and you'll see in quotes that there's a quote there. So it's been created, but they've not yet accepted it. And then once you've been through that, then you can create an invoice in a similar way. So you can create invoices, and then this gives you the way of doing a similar type of thing. So this will be invoice 001, no due date, and again it's Mr. Mikhail. So you confirm, and then you want to address it to the contact. So if you wanted to address it to a company in B2B mode, you can do it that way. And then you could say website 1. And then you would save it down. And then you'll be able to preview the invoice. So this is if you're admin, you can take a look at what the invoice looks like. So this is the client portal. And so this is just a message for admins. But if you do have a client that's logging in, they can then log in and they can see their invoice there. And then they'll be able to see all of their invoices in the various other tabs. So you see a couple here that I've made before. So again, these are ones that I actually made for myself. And you can see this is actually what's coming in. So there's a bit more information. So some of the fields I've filled in, some of them I haven't. And I didn't really fill in any amounts. And again, so you got invoices, transactions as well. If there's been any transactions made, this is where the client can see them. They can edit their own details if they want. So if they want to change any of the information that you hold on them. And then if you're running something like Awesome Support, so if you want to give them a way to contact them, to contact you with any queries, so say you've done something for them and they have a follow-up question, you can do it this way. Or if you've got any files, you can do that via the client portal too. So this is, again, there's no file, I've not had any files from my contacts, but if you do have any in there, you can choose whether to display them and allow the contact to download them. And finally, you've got tasks. So if there's any tasks in your contact record, again, so I put a number of tasks on here. There's a number of different things here that this person could do. And it says whether it's complete or not. So it's a way of just allowing your contact to see various things in there that you want to show them. And it's all managed via the CRM record. So this is by the front end of the website. They'd log in and they'll be able to see everything in one place. So they'll be able to see effectively the central area, look at the quotes, and they can, if they do have a quote like this one, you can see they can go in and they can accept it from the client portal. So they go in and then you can see this is the same template as before. You see it's all been built up. I put some different amounts in. So they can read that and they can accept it. So that is what you do in the sort of contacts to quotes to invoices. And then once they've paid it, you'll be able to see the transaction information in the CRM. So these ones are unpaid. And if need be, they can download the PDF by clicking the PDF button. And then it would download. So if they need to see whatever invoices you made for them, they can do that. And they then have a copy of the PDF. So your client portal page, it's just a way of keeping everything in one place for your contacts. And that's if you choose to have it set up in the CRM. So that's pretty much the whole run through of the CRM. So I touched on, so this is the system status page that I opened earlier. So if you're running the CRM, it's always worth checking this page just to see if there's any errors flagging up. So this one's warning me that I'm running it on a local host. So I'm in developer mode because I'm running it not on a live server. So it says warning, it's running locally, so it may cause some issues if you're trying to send emails or if you're trying to download any extension updates. It tells you a little bit about your time zones and various areas in here. So it'll flag up if there's any anything you need to be aware of. So it's pretty much straightforward on this install. And then notifications up at the top. You'll see if there's anything that needs doing. So if you're running some extensions and they need an update, then it'll flag up saying it'll need an update. So this is just a way of us keeping things up to date in the CRM. So again, the final area is manage extensions. So this will show you certain things I was running. So the customer portal, if you don't want that to be available, you can deactivate it. And same with other areas of the CRM. So like the API, task scheduler, quote builder. So if you don't want quotes, you can deactivate it. If you don't want invoices, you can turn it off. And that's pretty much the whole turning on and off the modules of the CRM there. And then you have the extensions. So you'll see here we've got a number of different extensions available, and there's various different ones you can use. So I touched on automation, so you can see that that's installed. The other one I was looking at briefly was Awesome Support was installed for the tickets. Client Portal Pro to allow file downloads and displaying the tasks, as well as allowing the PDF download. And then Livestorm is our webinar connector. So we've got a number of different areas here, and then Twilio connects for sending the SMS. So there's a number of different ones here that we've got running, but then there's other ones in here that you can also use if you got the bundle. So it's just ways of doing extra things with the CRM. So there's all sorts of different extensions that we've got. So let me just load up the extension area. We've got, so If you click through any of these, it'll take you to each of the individual area, and you can read a little bit more about each extension. And then we do have our extension bundles. So again, if you've not got a bundle active, then again, now's a good time to grab them while they're still on the discount. And so this is our current version 2 pricing. So if you're not already running any of the extensions, then the Entrepreneur Bundle is certainly the most popular extension that we've got. And again, if you purchase at this reduced price, we'll never put the renewal up. So in a year's time, if the price is $500, you won't be increased to that. You'll be on whatever you purchased. So again, so that's our extensions, and we are on our way to version 3. So version 2 at the moment is on version 2.98. Version 3, I don't know, my page is jumping like that. Version 3 is on its way. So this gives you a little bit of information of what we're working on and where we're up to. So we're just working through the final stages of the data migration, and we've completed our beta testing of version 2 of mail campaigns. So I'm doing a more detailed run through on that on Thursday. So that's something that if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about, then come along on Thursday. And then that will mark version 3. So again, if you want to be kept up to date on version 3 releases, then I'll send the link to the webinar now for you to sign up to be notified. So let me ping that one. Go to 3.0. So I'm sharing the page that you can see on screen now. That'll take you to our current road to version 3. So we're actually almost all the way there now. So you'll see that we've got our consistency page. Shows you where we're up to. So we're currently on version 2.98. So we're getting closer to version 3, and we're releasing a lot of little improvements as we go along. And as I showed on the other page, version 3 is coming. So it's pretty much just the data migration that we're finalizing and making sure that everything still continues to operate smoothly after the migration has happened. And at that point, the prices are going up to what you'll see on the version 3 page. So if you've not purchased the bundles already, then definitely recommend you to do so. Okay, so if there's any other questions, I will keep the webinar open for a few more minutes, so do ask them before I close the session, and then I'll just share a final call to action. So again, our entrepreneur and reseller bundles are still currently discounted, still on our version 2.0 pricing. Again, if you're not grabbed them, please do. Well, they go up in price. So again, hopefully this walkthrough has been useful. And I've been struggling a little bit with the head code, but hopefully I've answered any questions that you had about the CRM. If you've still got questions and want to ask them outside of the webinar, then I will send the link to the support area. So if you want to ask a question that's been covered, I'll send that through. I'll send that into the chat in a moment. Okay, so just posting that link. That's if you the wrong link. That's if you want to request a feature. But if you just actually want to contact us, you'll see there's a submit a ticket on that page as well. So if you've got any other questions, find that link. So the first link tells you how we manage our features and any feature requests. You can follow that through to submitting a ticket. But apart from that, and if there's any other questions, and we do have some upcoming classes. So we do put everything on YouTube at the end of the webinar. And so I'll just share, if you've not if you don't think you can make one of the upcoming webinars and you were keen on looking at what we talked about the last time we did it, then there are a number of YouTube channels that you can, there's our YouTube channel that you can subscribe to. We do put everything up on YouTube. I'll just bring that up on screen as well. So the bundles are still active and still discounted. And this is our YouTube channel. So we put all of the webinars on there, and pretty much a day or two after the webinar itself. So you see, we did the last mail campaigns run through 2 weeks ago. So if you wanted to check that one out, you can check it out on the YouTube channel. And if you wanted to attend a future one, but you couldn't make a certain time, then do subscribe to the channel, because we always put it up on YouTube afterwards, and you can just watch them at your leisure. So it's a growing resource of walkthroughs, and each one covers some slightly different things. So again, we will be putting together a page on our own site as well, just to give a little bit of a commentary about each webinar, so you don't have to sit through like hours and hours of live webinars to find a particular feature that we covered in one a few weeks ago. So that's something we'll be doing over the next couple of weeks, is we'll be putting together a similar version like this page, but on our own website, so you can actually see, read a little bit about it, and actually jump into certain areas of the webinar if you wanted to just jump to certain parts. So please do subscribe to YouTube. It does gives you a way of being notified when we release a new webinar or a new video. So it's not just webinars on here. So you see there are other like custom field quick guides, and there's some specific features, like if you want to connect multiple commerce stores to a single install, or things like link fields. So if you aren't aware of what a link field is, again, that's been in the CRM for a year now, so you can jump in and see what a link field is and what you can do with that. So there are some higher level quick guides in there that are only like a short amount of time. And then we've got all of our webinars that we've been doing. So you see that we've been doing these quite a while now. So again, if you do have any other questions, do ask them. But otherwise, here's the link to our YouTube. So please do subscribe, and again, hopefully I'll see people soon at any future webinars. So again, thanks for attending, everybody, and we hope you're enjoying the CRM, and any features, do let us know. Do keep using the CRM, and do like and subscribe to any of our YouTube videos. Okay, thank you everybody for attending.